Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back. I'm glad you could join me again today. Today I'm going to be introducing an artist that I found out about just a couple of nights ago. His name is Nichols, and he is an American artist currently working, and he lives in California, and he's a painter, and he does currently a project called Flowers for Sick People. And what he does is he makes very simple, really beautiful paintings of flowers, and then he sends them to people around the country and around the world who are sick or in their home at this point. And I recently saw a video on the TV about Nichols, and he really inspired me in a couple of ways. He inspired me because as an artist, he was using his talent to make people feel better, which is awesome. So he's using his talent as a painter, he's painting beautiful pictures, and he's sending them to people who are sick or lonely or anything like that. And that's really awesome. He also inspired me because of his style. I loved his style. It's simple, it's colorful, playful, very simple, almost abstract. And that really inspired me as well. So being inspired by Nichols, I decided to create my own images, and I actually had my children create images too, based on kind of his style and his ideas. So as you can see on the wall behind me here, these are some examples of work that my children and I did yesterday. So you can see they're very colorful, the shapes are simple, they're fun. We had a lot of fun doing them, and the backgrounds are kind of plain, which is what you saw in a lot of his paintings. And I pulled out some examples as well of some that I did. So these I did quickly. Are they perfect? No. Did I have fun doing them? I did. So for this particular painting, to go along with the idea that Nichols had of flowers for sick people, I actually had my grandparents in mind for this. They're not sick, but they are stuck in their house currently, and they've been there for several weeks, and I think they're pretty sad and lonely. So while I was painting this particular painting, I was thinking of my grandparents, and I am going to send this to them, and I hope that it'll brighten their day when they receive it. So you can paint these or draw these for fun and for the sake of just having fun and doing them and exploring. And you can also paint one with a specific person in mind too. So for materials for this project, they're kind of up to you, what you have in your house, what you feel like using. For these back here, I used paint sticks, which are these guys right here. And if you have these in your house, that's great. If you don't have these in your house, you should get these in your house, because these are just like little paint in a stick, and they dry really quick, and their colors, as you can see, are super bright, and some of them are actually kind of transparent, so they overlap really well and they do some color mixing. So I used paint sticks, but you can also I could show you how to use markers. I could use some crayons. You can use, I've got some chalk pastels, or you could use your sidewalk chalk, we have that. Any material that you want. You can use paint, watercolor, acrylic paint, anything that you have. And for paper, Nichols sends his paintings out on they're almost like little postcards. So I just cut some thicker paper down into some smaller rectangles, and they could even be even smaller. You could do a little guy like that. That would be kind of cool too. So you're gonna want to prepare your paper for what size you want. I have a lot of white paper here, but you could also use construction paper or any other colored paper, black paper. I also pulled from what I have as far as a little bit of inspiration. I picked some dandelions and I put them in a little vase. I also have these little fake flower things and I put them in a vase. Just in case I get stuck or need a little inspiration, I could look up at them and pull from them. But if you don't have them, then that's fine too. So let's get started, and I'm just going to show you a few examples and a few ideas of how you can create a simple, colorful flower picture. All right, so for my picture here, I'm going to start with a vase. I'm going to choose a light blue. And I'm just going to draw a simple vase shape, just like that. And I'm going to kind of color it in, but I'm not going to color it in all the way because I want to give it some texture. I'm going to leave it like that. And for this one, I might do dark green for some crazy stems. Oh, that looks kind of cool. And pick. I'll pick some pink. Do some little guys on the ends of these. Again, just very simple, getting some color in there, getting some shape in there. And with these paint sticks, you can overlap. So that's what I'll do. And as you can see, that creates a third color there in the middle, which is like a nice orange color. That's why I love these paint sticks. Another thing I like to do with these paint sticks is you can overlap with white and kind of make things lighter. So I'm going to go over this vase again and just kind of add even more texture over top. As you can see, the white is kind of transparent. That looks nice. And I think for my background, I'm going to use a light green. I think I'm going to draw a little tabletop. And I'm going to make some kind of loop-de-loop kind of marks here. And I'm not coloring the whole thing in, just to kind of give it some texture. Okay. So there is one example. I could go further into this and I could add lots of detail if I want. Or I could also just leave it as it is, because I think it's kind of just neat as it is. I also recommend having a lot of sheets of paper ready, so that way you could just kind of go through ideas quickly as they come to you. And it's okay if you want to finish one quickly and move on to another one. So for my next one, I'm going to use some markers that I have, and I actually pulled out my vase here with the dandelions that I picked earlier for inspiration. So let's see. As you can see, I'm just not really super concerned with it looking super realistic. I'm just getting that main shape of the long neck and the round bottom here. I'm just drawing very simple shapes here for the dandelions. So I'm just kind of mimicking their kind of spikiness over here. Color this vase in, and I'm not going to worry about coloring it in perfect because I actually really like the white space. It gives it nice texture. Now for my background, I might actually use a crayon because sometimes coloring in a large area with a marker is really difficult. So I think I'm going to pick a crayon. I'll move this, I have room. And here you can use some of the different techniques that you've learned with crayons, like the blending and the shading. You can keep it really simple too. I think I'll actually draw my tabletop. I think I might do stripes on the tabletop. Alright, so as you can see, I've colored in my whole background here. And I kind of left the white around the flowers, which I kind of like that look. Or you could also get in real close. Let's It's how you want it to look. Experiment a little bit. I could get in there a little bit. So I think I will move to a blue sheet of paper, and I've got my chalk pastels here. So again, I'll start with simple vase shape. And man, chalk pastels show up really good on dark paper. I think I'll kind of go with that straight look. When working with chalk pastels, try not to rub. If you have little chunks of pastel, try to blow it. Otherwise it'll smear. And I'm actually going to be looking at this vase here that I picked. So this one actually has some yellow polka dots on it. And then it's got these little balls on top here. And I'll draw some leaves. We learned how to draw leaves a couple weeks ago. And you can look at from nature at some weeds outside to get ideas for simple shapes. And another thing you could do with chalk pastels is you could blend them with your finger. I'll draw these little balls here. They get overlapped the leaves. And then maybe I'll go over with a kind of a highlight color. Maybe on half of them I'll draw a little kind of highlight line. Now for this one I don't really need to color a background because it's already blue, but I might want to put a table in there. And at this point I'm just kind of picking colors that I like, colors that I think will go together. That looks really nice in there, that color. Maybe this line will come down like it's at the corner of a table. And then maybe I'll blend this one as well. And then I think I might actually blend this vase as well. So that one's done. All right, so I think I will do one more just for an example and for inspiration. And this is just gonna this one's gonna kind of come out of my head and my imagination. And first I'm gonna start with a marker I'll draw. So I think I'll draw a vase, however it comes out of my mind. And then I will draw some flowers. Stems coming out. One like that. Then I'm going to go back in with my paint sticks because I love paint sticks. And I'm going to add the color. And if you look at Tucker Nichols' work, some of it is painting, some of it is drawing. Okay, so I colored in my flowers there, and as you can see I left a little white space, and that's okay. Paint the middle red. I think I'll paint the vase yellow. I think I'll take a little bit of a more neutral color for the background. I'll choose a brown. And I'm gonna color that whole background in. And then again, if you don't have white paper, you could also start with a painted paper. So you could go through, paint some papers, some nice bright colors, and then you have to worry about the background. But these paint sticks fill in really nice and easily, so I don't mind. Okay, I think I'll leave some for my table top. That brown a little bit, finish up. And I really like how this pink looks on top of this yellow. So I think I'm gonna do some polka dots. Maybe I'll go around the edges of my flowers with some dark blue. Just one of the edges, leave the other edge open. Okay, all right, so this first one that I did, it's dry now. So I'm actually gonna go back through with some marker and just to kind of clean it up a little bit, add a little bit more detail, make sure it's exactly how I want. So I'll take my green and I'll just kind of sharpen up some of my stems here. And then I think I'll take this dark pink and maybe I'll add some dots. And then I think I'll take my dark blue here and maybe I'll outline my vase. And maybe I'll even put some stripes on my vase. So as an artist, you can do one layer, let it dry, come back, and then do another layer with a different medium. And that's always really fun. So I think I like it as it is. I think I'll leave it. I just added a little bit of detail. So these are the examples that I did today, and did some paint sticks. We did some chalk pastel on colored paper, paint sticks with a marker drawing, some marker and crayon, and I could go into some of these and add more detail as well, like I did with this one. But as you can see, they're fun, they're colorful, the shapes are simple. I used my imagination. I also looked from life in some of them, and I kind of mixed the two, and I just had fun. So that's the point of this, is to draw and paint and sketch flowers in vases or bowls or even in a field. And you can think of somebody who you might want to send these to make them feel better. So I hope that I inspired in you, as Tucker Nichols did in me, just a sense to want to get some papers out, make some really fun and simple colorful drawings of flowers. And then you can also go a step further and send them to somebody that you love, who you think might, their day might be brightened if they were to receive something like this in the mail. So at this point, you can write a little letter on the back, or you can just send it as it is. You also, like I did behind me, you can take your paintings and your sketches and just put them up in your own home, and they'll make you feel better. So at the end of this video, there will be a link to the video that I saw of Tucker Nichols and his studio practice, and some of the materials he uses in his studio, and some of his ideas. And you could actually see him doing some paintings as well. So I found it super inspiring, and I hope that you do too. And I hope that you try some of these at home using any materials that you feel like or that you have at home. And if you do, please send us pictures, put them in our comments. We'd love to see what you're doing. And until next time, thank you very much.